Cross the Culture Wars is the name of the channel. My name is Brian, your host, and I would like to say I hope that you are having a good day. I hope that this year is going well for you. But in this video, we're going to talk about why so many people are unhappy, or why are so many people unhappy. Man, that's a mouthful. For one, I would like to say that I wish that everyone could find whatever it is that they're looking for in their lives. In my opinion, I want to share the planet with people who are in harmony and at peace with themselves and are in rhythm with life and can cohabitate with others peacefully. Personally, I don't want to live on a planet with disharmony. I don't want to live on a planet with people that are unhappy. I don't want to cohabitate with people who are unhappy, as well as I think that generally speaking, it can't hurt to want everyone to find peace, right? That's an ideal. It wouldn't hurt. However, we live in a world where, as an individual, we can feel unhappiness at times or dis-ease, as well as when we meet other people, we notice that a lot of other people are often unhappy. And lately, I've been asking myself, why are so many people unhappy? Right? Is it the fast pace of society? Like we're constantly on the go, we're constantly trying to acquire things, acquisition. I want that, I'm taking that, right? Or are we like this because perhaps we are following a script that's not designed to benefit us, is designed to benefit the system. Okay, first, on my channel, Across the Culture Wars, what I like to do is I like to talk about things that occur in society, things that I see in the world. So the latest happening that's going on in the world is the United States military campaign on Iran. And this is all over the news, all over the headlines of the US versus Iran and the implications of a possible third world war, right? In February, we had the situation in Venezuela, right? So we've had Venezuela with Maduro. We've had what's going on now with the Anatolia in Iran and the implications of a third world war. Now, I don't know where all of the listeners are listening from, but I'm going to connect this to why people are so unhappy. So many people are unhappy, guys, because what if society is not designed for you to be happy? What if we're living in a world where your happiness is not important? What's important is capitalism, making sure that the system stays afloat. So millions of people, let's say millions of people say that they don't want the war in the Middle East or a war in Venezuela. Is that going to stop the people who rule the world from carrying out their agenda? No, it's not. I am just observing this because, I'm not in Iran, right? I'm not in Venezuela. Although one of my favorite countries is Colombia. I love Colombia. I love Cartagena. I got friends in Colombia. One of my closest friends, Gino, is Colombian. I actually is one of my if I didn't live in the United States, I would live in Colombia. Okay. I actually own a house overseas. I'm not going to say which country, but I own a piece of property overseas. So Why are so many people unhappy? Man, I think so many people are unhappy because we are disconnected from why we're here. I believe we're disconnected from what we should be doing. We're so focused on getting our most basic needs met. Most people are trying to have food, water, shelter, clothing, health. We're constantly in survival mode, right? And a lot of us don't have things to slow things down. So many people turn to sex, drugs, alcohol, searching for things to validate who we are. And no one is immune to this. We are all basically trying to escape a reality. And so when I really sat back one day, I'm gonna speak for me, right? I was in a situation, guys, where I made more money than I ever made before. For me, I made more money than I ever made before. I had traveled to more places that I ever wanted to travel to and things of that nature. And I was happy, or at least I thought I was happy. But then I realized, wow, I'm doing well, but everyone that I love and people that I know are not doing well. And then that caused survivor's guilt. And so many of us have that. So I believe that on the individual level, we could reach some level of satisfaction. But if everyone around you is struggling, your mom, your dad, or your close friend, your best friend, people that you know, siblings, how so this is where social class emerge, because people are not going to want to be around people that are unhappy all the time or don't have the same level of means that they have. So social class and social hierarchies exist because people are going to say, I want to be around like-minded people, right? So let's go back to what I was talking about before with this war that's taking place. It's chaos all over the globe right now, guys. I just want you to think about this. Why are so many people unhappy? Why are so many people unhappy? What if the systems that we are living in is not designed for us to be happy? I was in a business class at university, and while in college, we were talking about different economic systems and different governments. I'm a speak in layman's terms. I like to speak in a way that I could be understood by everyone. My lectures or when I speak is not designed to go over people's heads. I want to talk as though I'm speaking to my 10-year-old son, right? Well, capitalism says that in order for something to have value, it has to be scarce. So scarcity creates value. So so in order for something to be valuable in this current economic system, everyone can have it. Now I'm gonna repeat that. In capitalism, one of the rules of capitalism is scarcity creates value. So okay, stay with me. So let's say everyone had electricity, everyone had food to eat. If everyone had money in the bank, those things would lose value. So poverty has to exist in order for capitalism to work. There has to be people that don't have anything in order for the system to work. Now, that means if everyone had their most basic needs met, if everyone had adequate housing, healthcare, food, shelter, water, would they actually get up and go to work in the morning? Would you get out of your bed at 5 a.m. and stay at work until 5 p.m. if you had all of your needs met? No, it would be no reason to. So I think that the reason why so many people are unhappy is because we're not in harmony with the world. The way that we are designed to be and the way that we live are not balanced, right? So in music, I love music. I have my guitars behind me right here. I got a keyboard right here. I love music. I am a musician. Okay. In music, we have harmony and we have melody. Most people don't really understand either, really. They just like what they hear. But they don't know that a musician's job is to create um harmony, right? Instead of dissonance. Dissonance is a tool that we use in music. Okay. So, but it has to get back to harmony. So I'm going to explain, make a simple analogy using music, melody versus harmony. Harmony is usually chords, multiple notes played at once, right? And the melody is like individual voices. So how the two interact creates the music, right? So in order for us to have harmony, we have to have cohesion. In order for us to have melody, we have to have voices. Most people don't feel like they have a voice. And since we don't have cohesion, we're not in harmony with one another. So that's like everyone is just playing their own song. Everyone, instead of playing one song, we're all playing different things. We're all playing in different keys. It's not going to sound good. It's no cohesion, right? And that's similar to how we're living right now. We need harmony. It's okay for you to have your own voice. That's the melody section. It's okay for you to have a place where you could do your own thing. That's a part of the music, but it has to relate to what everyone else is doing. So we have harmony and we have melody. They have to work together. And as humans, we're not working as a cohesion. So we don't have harmony. We're living in disharmony, and I am also in this too, right? I'm not as I should be, so I'm not saying this like, oh, I am right and these other people are wrong. No, I am trying to get in balance and find harmony in this world that I'm living in. And so I've tried it by gaining more education. I've tried it by making more money. I've tried it by relocation, moving to different places on the globe. I've tried it by sobriety, like no alcohol, no marijuana, no intoxicants, none of that, just sobriety, right? I've tried it by trying to intellectualize the problem. Like maybe I'm just not understanding it enough. Then I came to realize that all of that can be a form of escapism, meaning it enters circular logic. Instead of looking at the situation and realizing, like, hey, this is the problem, this is how we face the problem. What we do is we just keep talking about the problem. That's circular logic. We're not getting to the point where we address the problem. And there's a problem that 99% of the people in the world are experiencing, which is confusion. And we have to find a way to eliminate confusion. Most people are confused about multiple things. And if you're confused about multiple things all at once, you're going to have disharmony. So why are people unhappy? Because they're confused. Why are people confused? What if people are confused because we are all massively undereducated and also intentionally miseducated? We are miseducated. I'm gonna make a statement. The statement is, I think we are massively miseducated. So when you're miseducated, it's a little bit different from just being undereducated. A person can be a doctor, a lawyer, a PhD, and still have inaccurate information. So they know an abundance of things, but little pieces are thrown off. That's how we are. We have access to more information than probably previous generations. We have internet, online books, constant videos, overstimulation where we can just any topic you want to learn is available for you. But we have also an abundance of miseducation. So I think with this war that's taking place on the in the Middle East, the war in Iran, I would say this: the war in Venezuela, just in the world. Why can't we coexist? Why can't there be peace? You ever thought about that? Like most people, regardless of your skin color, your race, your religious background, all of that jazz, most people want to eat, sleep, and live in peace. No matter who you are, no matter what language you speak, no matter what country you're from, most people just want to live in peace. I've been all over the country, you guys. I've been to every state except a few of them. North of New York, like I haven't been like to New Hampshire, Connecticut, Maine. I haven't been up there, and I haven't been to Alaska and Hawaii. So about 7 states in the whole United States I haven't been to. Okay, I've even been to Puerto Rico. So I've spent the block, as we would say. Like I've been around here. You know what I mean? Okay. Guys, do you know it's so much land just in the United States alone where it's just unoccupied? No one lives there. No matter where you live, you can travel to some place near you that's just completely not occupied. The planet is big enough for everyone to coexist on. It's not overpopulated. Is places in the United States, I can guarantee you, the is could be developed and people can live there. But for some reason, we are struggling to coexist with one another. And when I get online and I have to consciously fight this, that's programming depending on who you are. So like if you're a white guy, it's programming telling you, hey, don't like these other people because they are out to get you. If you're a black person, it's programming saying, hey, don't like these other people, they're out to get you. If you're a Middle Easterner, don't like these people because of this reason. We're all being programmed to hate each other. Yet we're all human. You see it. We're being now. You might not realize it. I might not realize it. But when we watch videos of, let's say, 50 years ago or 100 years ago, and we learn about a topic, and they're fighting over something that's so silly to us, we would say, "Dang, they were programmed. Why were they thinking about that?" For example, at one point in time, there was a war in Europe over Catholicism and the Protestants. So the war was basically, should the Pope have all power, and should only the Pope and the higher clergy have access to the holy books, or should everyone have access to the holy books? So in Europe, prior to the Age of Discovery, most people were illiterate because after the fall of Rome, uh, the Roman dialect broke off into different languages because the civilization fell, right? They went into darkness, so to speak. Okay. The people that lived in North Africa and what would now be called the Middle East, these people preserved a lot of the Greek history, a lot of the Roman history, and they reintroduced it to the people that lived in Europe. Now, when I say this, I'm not saying this for a political agenda. There's no punchline to this. I'm just giving some historical context. So, Europe is a continent, okay? Europe is a continent. And on that continent, you've always had different groups of people, okay? Just like the Americas, North and South America, and you could put the Caribbean islands in there. It's always been many different groups of people that live there, okay? You can't have one group of people just living in one place. Why? Because when it's time to mate, you're going to end up with offspring that's not as they should be. Humans are not dumb. Humans are very smart. So humans have always sought to bring in new bloodlines in order to procreate and create better stock. Okay, why am I saying this? Because the idea of having this homogeneous society is false. That's like saying my mom, my dad are brothers and sisters. Like, you can't have a homogeneous society. You have to have different people in a society. That's common sense. So you mean to tell me people are going to say, I want a homogeneous society? You want your mom and your dad to be related? Because that's essentially, if you follow that state of mind, that's essentially where you're going to lead to. You're going to lead to incest. You know, and so humans have always sought to bring in new groups, trade with new groups, intermarry with different groups in order to have healthier offspring. Okay, and so when we look at the world today, I think that we're just being programmed. There's a lot of miseducation. It's a lot of undereducation, and so many people are confused. Think about this: more people now in modern times go to high school, college, grad school, not just in the United States, guys, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America. I mean, millions of people are in higher ed. Yet people are more confused than they have ever been. Why? How can millions of people have access to more education than so-called previous generations, but people are more divided? People are more confused than they've ever been before. Currently, in the United States, but it's not just the United States. If you start watching world news, you will realize what's going on around the planet. I'm gonna speak for me. I can't speak for other people, so most of this is just what I see. Why is it Democrats and Republicans can't come together to agree on things that would benefit the American populace? Think about this for a second. Should your political party supersede doing what's best for the nation? I say no. That's like a person saying it's almost like gang banging to a degree. So you mean to tell me you would rather do what's in the best interest for your group instead of doing what's in the best interest of the entire nation? We're mentally ill. Like, as a group, we're mentally ill. And I think that, like, younger people understand this a little bit more than it's things that the older people understand more than us. I think the younger people, we have seen just such stupidity when it comes to this. I think it's harder for younger people to get that binary thing. Like, we don't understand it. Like, okay, for example, let's say there was a medication that could rid cancer from a human's body. But in order for this medication to be given to the nation, the public, Democrats and Republicans have to agree. But now let's say, since neither party wants to agree, because each one wants to take credit for this new medication, the medication never reaches the market. It never reaches the public. You see why I can't agree with that? It's hard for me to co-sign that, and I don't understand the thinking of my group should receive benefits, but the public should not receive benefits. I don't understand that, because it would lead to harmony. It would lead to cohesion. That's why I don't understand it. But I do understand the mentality of, well, what if that cohesion eliminates me? I understand that. But so even though I don't understand it on the surface, I do get the deeper thought process towards it. But it still leads to disharmony, right? It still leads to the same thing. So why are so many people unhappy? Because I think that the system is designed to drain your energy. And I could be wrong. That could be part of my confusion. Maybe the system is perfect and I'm flawed, right? But since I'm 30 years old and I've been living 30 years on the planet, I would probably say I am a product of the system. All of us are. So when we see someone doing something that we don't like and we say, why are they like this? They are a product of the system. When we see someone do something that we like, that is also a product of the system. So so that's what makes it so hard, because we can always point to outliers and say, well, these people were in the same situation and they overcame it. And then we can say, well, these people were in the same situation and they succumbed to their environment. But I see so many people, guys, that's on drugs, alcohol, chasing romance relationships. Some people are chasing careers, jobs, money, finances. All of us are chasing something because it's a form of escapism. Some people get deep into religion. Some people, like me, I fall into this trap, getting deeper into books, thinking that the more books you read, you're going to find some secret truth that's going to help you be at peace with the world. What I will say is that I wish that we did live in a planet where harmony was prioritized and war was not. We can spend $210 billion on weapons of war, but we can't spend $210 billion on making sure that the kids have adequate resources, the next generation. We can when it comes to building weapons of war and destruction, the governments in this world will go bankrupt in order to fund those things. But when it comes to helping our fellow man, we won't give them $1. And so I think that probably we should encourage that. Let's push the line to that. Let's if that's what we're going to do, then let's do it. I think that once we get over our fear of being unalived, we'll be free. I think that we're clinging to something that's inevitable, because they're obviously willing to spend more money on that than prolonging life and helping people. So tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments. Tell me, why do you think so many people are unhappy? This has been my podcast, Across the Culture Wars.